Lots of rumors have been going around as far as the Mariners trading away some of their starting pitchers for either a young bat that could push them over edge to take the number one slot in the AL West. The other push is now Dylan Cease talks and trades. Let's just get into it, I guess. This is getting ridiculous. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Touching Bases podcast. And today we are talking about the Mariners because they are taking storm of the media today. And I want to get this video out because I've been delayed on recording. And the big talk is basically Dylan Cease is somehow the front runner for the Mariners as far as trade talk. I don't know if the White Sox are actually going to deal him. They keep talking about it. They never pull the trigger. And I don't exactly know if it's because we have a lot of starting pitching that's young and controllable, and Dylan Cease is a very short-term life as far as his contract goes, but he is very good. Granted, I also think that he's very much overrated, at least as far as his MLB trade values. They have him all the way up to a 60, and honestly, I would say he's probably more of like a 46. In my opinion, he is good, but he's not that good. And as far as his value and how much we're supposed to give for him, being a Mariners fan, I just don't see it. No, we shouldn't be giving up a starting pitching for him because this would be very much a short term. We have too much club control to be letting go of any of our pitchers at this point because it is so stacked. We could go into 2024 with the rotation that we have currently and be perfectly fine. The starting pitching position is not a necessity at this point. We do need a bat. I don't know what Jerry Dipoto is thinking at this point. If the rumors are true, I guarantee you it's going to be prospects that we're going to be trading, not a starting pitcher. We would like to be able to pick up Cease, I could see, in order to put him as like the number 3, maybe the number 4 as far as the starting pitching slot, somewhere behind Luis Castillo and George Kirby, kind of right there with Logan Gilbert. To be honest with you, I think Dylan Cease and Logan Gilbert at the same caliber, and then we're able to roll off with Wu and Bryce Miller. There just doesn't seem to be much gain to be trading one of our young in control pitchers for a guy that's going to not last as long. Let's be honest. I mean, Brian Wu has proved himself to be potentially a Cy Young Award winner in 2026, maybe 2027, if he's able to develop. Now, why do we need to have just this crazy elite starting rotation when we already kind of have it? Yeah, I would say that Wu is probably the weakest out of all the starting pitchers, but he's still better than the majority of all the starting pitching that's out there in the AL. In my opinion, if you're going to be picking up another starting pitcher that's going to be a ace, that's going to make this an unbelievable team, go after Blake Snell. It makes zero sense for us to trade away players that we already have to go get a star pitcher, especially when Snell just started a 12U team for a travel ball here in Seattle. He's from Seattle. He's always wanted to play for the Mariners. He's always said that he wanted to play in Seattle, his team that he grew up watching. Sign him, and then if you need to, go ahead and trade Wu away for a bat. Now, what bats could we trade away? And why Wu? Let's start right there. Out of all of our pitchers, Brian Wu is probably the most injury prone. Yes, we have hold on him and we have club control, and that's fine and dandy, and that's if he stays healthy, it'll be worth it in the long run, and he's inexpensive. But if we are going to get elite pitching, sign Blake Snell, who just won the Cy Young. Sounds a lot like Robbie Ray, correct? Who then had Tommy John, and basically we paid for him to just sit on the bench. If we tried to do this one more time, and it does work out, then we have an even better pitcher than Bryce Miller, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, or Brian Wu, and we can utilize Brian Wu, who's the number 6 at this point, or you can say number 7 if you want to count Disclafani, and use that as a bargaining chip in order to add another bat. Where? Probably second base. I know Ryan Bliss is somewhere in the pipeline to come up and play. How well he'll play, I don't know, but I would like to keep him in the Mariners organization because he's so sought out for. Luis Urias is probably going to be fine at third base. If he can just play like he did with the Brewers, he will do fine there, and I think Mariners fans truly need to invest and accept that he is better than what you think. Is it trustworthy? No. But if we are going to spend big money and we are going to trade a very talented starting pitcher, Safeco Field, T-Mobile Park, however you want to describe it, was built for Ken Griffey Jr. It was built for the left-handed bat. If we can get a power left-handed bat. This will change the dynamic of the Mariners organization in 2024. And with all these trade rumors with Dylan Cease, do not expect the Mariners to trade a starting pitcher. Expect them to trade prospects, unfortunately, and they're going to be bats that the White Sox want because they're in rebuild session. Do not expect them to give away what we already have when we have more control. It makes absolutely zero sense for the Mariners to go down this route, and I think most people can agree with me. Spend the money, sign Snell, who will probably be a little bit more lenient because he already wants to pitch here, and then use our starting pitching to get a bat in the long term. Whether or not that could even be Luis Ariz. It could be Duran with the Red Sox. It could be a Rosarena if we really wanted to go back to Tampa again. We already took Luke Raley. Why don't we just work something in there because they desperately need pitching since Glasnow's gone? It could be Kobe Mayo. I'm hoping not because he's not proven in the MLB, and I'm not trying to trade some of our best pitching for some guy that's just a high prospect from the Orioles. Yeah, they've shown that they have players that can produce, especially at a young age and coming up in their own pipeline. But I'm not trying to risk that when we already know that Brian Wu has what it takes. I'm not including Bryce Miller because he's very healthy, because he can pitch well, because he's now has a splitter that looks disgusting. And if he's in the starting rotation, they're going to have to learn how to hit it this next season, which is going to benefit the Mariners. And it's going to, even if he's a number 5, he's going to be a insanely valuable player in that rotation, even with the star-studded rotation we have. Luis Ariz would be an amazing addition, but let's be honest, the Marlins have a very star-studded starting pitching already. They aren't going to want Wu as their trade. They're going to want Wu with a bunch of other bats that are coming up through the pipeline that's cheap. So it's going to cost the Mariners more than they need to bring on Ariz. And Ariz is, yes, he gets on base, and that's probably something that we need, but he's not a powerhouse. He's nothing crazy that's going to really stick it to the rest of the AL West and prove and push us through to the playoffs. I don't think. I think he'd be a great addition. I think he's probably the best out of all these options, maybe except for Duran. But it's going to be very hard to negotiate that with the Marlins since they already have starting pitching. And what we have to offer is not really in their focus as far as transactions go. Now moving on over to Duran, I honestly, the Red Sox absolutely need to get some starting pitching. Chris Sale is now gone. James Paxton is now gone. There's a lot of moving parts that are happening, and that rotation's looking really light. Yeah, Giolito's in there, but I would not want him to be your ace, number 1 in the rotation, to pitch for that team. Now, if you were to extend it out and you have something to kind of follow up behind that that's relatively impressive and promising, that would be Brian Wu and maybe a couple relievers that they really need, because Red Sox really need pitching at this point, and it's definitely affordable for them. But Duran would be a bat that the Mariners could absolutely use at this point. But I don't know. I don't know if Brian Wu is going to be enough, because the Red Sox, they haven't really been budging. They want something big as they come back. They got rid of Chris Sale, who is kind of honestly mediocre. He's doing okay. He'll be good for the Atlanta Braves, but to give up Vaughn Grissom for him, I think it was more of a win for Red Sox than it was the Braves. I think Vaughn Grissom's significantly better than Chris Sale, and Chris Sale is a household name that everybody knows. So what is it going to take to get Duran over to the Mariners? It's going to be more than Wu, and I don't know if it's worth trading that much, because Duran is good, but he's not so important to the lineup that you should give up your club control of pitching for the next 5 years. Now, if you know Jerry Dipoto, nothing that I'm saying is probably going to take effect or actually happen, but you know, it's something to think about and consider and kind of have fun with. With Dipoto, nothing he's done this season has been something we've been able to track and predict. So if I happen to be right, I'll be blown away, but I would like to think that we're not trading for Dylan Cease with one of our pitchers, and that's kind of plain and simple. What we're going to probably get out of it is a free agent signing for another pitcher if we are seriously going to go that route, even though I think we're pretty much set. But if we do sign a pitcher, a starting pitcher, a starting pitcher that we could really use and would benefit us, it's going to be leading to us trading away one of our lower end starting pitchers. And I hate saying lower end because they're all really good, and sending them away to bring in more bats. And that's kind of what the Mariners need at this point, is just one more big stick that will push them over edge, that doesn't have a high strikeout rate, because that is what killed the Mariners last season. If you can get someone 18% or less strikeout rate and has hit over 23, 25 home runs, that's probably the gold mine that exactly the Mariners are looking for. Now I'll leave you with this, since we can enjoy the football season as it comes to a close. The 2016 Seahawks won the Super Bowl, and they did that with having the Legion of Boom. Legion of Boom, best defense that you've probably ever seen in the last decade or two, and they proved it by getting that together and shutting down teams from being able to score, and that basically won us the Super Bowl. It was the key. Let's consider this the mindset of the Mariners. That starting rotation is our Legion of Boom. It's our master team. It's our highlighted rotation of the century. If they can acquire it, sustain the performances that they've been able to put on the field in the past years, and bring it to 2024, this might be the best shutdown starting rotation you're ever going to see in the MLB. And maybe, just maybe, it'll bring us to a World Series. That's all I have for you guys today. If you did like the video, subscribe, like it, hit the bell for notifications. If you disliked it or you have anything to go against it, or you really think Dylan Cease is going to come over and we're going to give up Brian Wu, please leave it below in the comments and tell me why, and tell me how wrong I am. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.